Hi guys, and welcome to the State of Crypto, your one-stop source for all crypto-related news. I'm your host Martin, and this is episode 216. Purse.io shuts down its XRP bleeding community members, and Binance Latam list the Bolivar. Now, if you're catching this from live, welcome, and if you're catching the replay and have any suggestions for us, please leave us a comment below. We really want to know what you're thinking. Now, if you want to be up to date with the latest crypto-related news, make sure to subscribe, hit that like button and that bell so you're notified when we go live. And if you want to keep on chatting with us once the stream is done, you can join us on the Discord. Links in the description. So it's a link to the amazing articles that we cover here on the stream. And, although I'm not that active on the Discord right now, we do have it open. And if someone posts a question, I'll probably get back to it. You can also type to me on Twitter at the State of Crypt1. A little bit more active there. Happy Friday, guys. It is the weekend. The weekend is upon us. We're starting to get some market movement, although it's not a lot, but at least the market is starting to move a little bit. I'm not sure if we're going to have a wild weekend or a steady weekend, to be honest, and that's something that's worrying me because the market is showing a lot of indecision, right? And we talked about that yesterday, and as you will tell today, we just had sideways motion because the market doesn't know where it wants to go. Anyways, we do have articles that we're going to get through. It's 6 articles. After that, we'll start doing the technicals. So again, just bear with me as we get through this. And yeah, let's jump onto the articles, right? This one, first one. Bitcoin-based payment facilitator Purse.io shuts down. After 6 years of service, Bitcoin-based Amazon payment facilitator Purse.io announced that they're closing their business. We've made it, they're actually stating, we made a very difficult decision to dissolve the company. We're grateful for the opportunity afforded by our supporters to build products and infrastructure for the cryptocurrency community. That was an announcement that came out yesterday by Purse.io. I didn't get to go through the articles yesterday. It was brought up to our attention by Bitcoin Jake. He's a member of our community. And so I went and looked for it, particularly today, as I told him I would. Anyways, as one of the first blockchain businesses of its kind, Purse.io came into the world in 2014, offering Amazon shoppers a discount for paying with Bitcoin. Now, the platform took parties interested in selling their Amazon gift cards and pair them with Bitcoin welding buyers, making discounts possible, according to the Purse.io site. I'm guessing, they really are not stating why they closed the business or why they're shutting down. But what I'm guessing is that their business model was not sustainable. That's usually what happens. They probably run with this for a while. They probably were not making the profits that they needed to have the upkeep and maintenance they needed to have and pay the salaries of their employees or developers. And they had to close, right? That's what I'm banking it on. And particularly right now. Right now it would seem a bit awkward because a lot of people are starting to buy things online due to COVID-19. So it would seem like the worst time to close. But maybe they're not getting that many people that are putting the gift cards for them to be paired with other people that are wanting to buy crypto. So, I'm not sure how they were working that out. Anyways, I am banking that it failed due to lack of recurrence or not many people buying, right? Anyways, after thinking the community, Purse.io detailed ongoing orders and withdrawals remain open until June 26th, 2020. So there's still a couple of months they're going to run. But the site shut off its sign-up feature on April 16, barring new members. Now, the site Shop and Earn features close on April 23rd, and the platform will also terminate unmatched open orders, with the entire outfit closing entirely on June 26th. So again, they're not going to be matching people that are wanting to buy with people that have gift cards that are willing to sell them for crypto. Right, that's what's happening. Anyways, at the statement's end, the company said it's been a privilege serving people all around the world. We're thankful for customers who've used Purse.io, increasing Bitcoin's utility and distribution. We're also thankful to all the developers and companies who continue to support open source projects, including Bitcoin and HAZ. Thank you for helping us make crypto useful. Anyways, that's it. Like I said, they're really not giving the reason why they're shutting down. I do believe it could be due to lack of business. Next article, first loan ever issued with Ethereum domain name as collateral. Now, this is important and this is going to be key. Now, Rocket LP DAO, a 4-month-old loan provider that uses non-fungible tokens as collateral, issued a $1,000 loan this week. Backed only by one Ethereum domain name, it's Brantley.Ethereum or ETH. And the loan was issued for 90 days with a 15% interest rate. And it is the first loan to ever be issued with only an Ethereum name service domain name for collateral. Now, the rate is high. 15% is really, really high given circumstances in the market right now. Anyways, ownership, but it's also high risk. I'll tell you why in a second. Ownership of the NS domain name represented as a NFT, a non-fungible token, has been temporarily given to Rocket as the issuer of the loan, and NFTs are ERC 721 tokens that are created to digitally represent a physical or digital asset. Now, the most prevalent use case revolves around tokenization ownership of valuable assets and can be transferred to another user using a smart contract. So again, it's probably running on an Ethereum smart contract. The 90-day loan worth 6.5 Ethereums, or $1,000 at the time of the issuance, was given to ENS Director of Operations Brantley Milligan on Tuesday. And although Milligan retains the ability to use the domain name during the term of the loan, this is key. He's still able to use the domain name during the term of the loan. Rocket has authority over it, meaning Rocket can close it. They can make his life hell throughout a month. Anyways, should the loan default, Rocket will retain ownership of the domain name and has the right to remove Milligan access to it completely. Although a domain name is basically generally may be purchased for very little, Milligan explains that in a Medium post that Brantley is my first name, and this particular ENS name has great personal value to me, so I have a strong incentive to repay the loan. That could be bullshit, and I'll just call it out. A lot of people can come in and start saying, oh man, it's my first name at Ethereum, or my first name .eth. It has so much value to me, man. Just loan me like $2,000, right? And it can become like a possible scam scheme, right? Now, where I do find use case is, let's say you have a company, like a large company, right, or a medium-sized company, who does have a value to its domain name that can have something go wrong if they don't repay the loan, but they can also ask for more money, right, without the need to go to a bank. Maybe they don't want to go to a bank for a loan. Maybe their credit lines are a bit tied up. They still need a little cash flow. They can go ahead and lend or borrow against their domain name with the lender having control over it, and you probably keeping it should they fail to repay on the maturity date, right? So, although they could probably repay it at a later time and you can probably transfer it to them, it would be extremely painful for a business to lose their domain name, more so than a person. Now, that's what I said, it's key. You could have real good use for this. Now, for a person's name, it's not as valuable, though it does raise the question of whether we can accurately tokenize or value sentiment. You can be so attached to a domain, but come on, like $1,000 for a domain name that you're probably not going to use for anything just because it's your name .eth, or $1,000. It's probably not going to be that much. Plus 15%, he has to pay $150 on top of the $1,000 on 90 days, right? Anyways, although a transaction is recorded on the blockchain, some users suggested that the value was too high, or that it has little correlation to an NTF or an NFT. Sorry, one user commented saying might be worth 1/10 of that on the market, and I agree. I think they made it too big, right? They wanted probably to grab headlines. He probably lent it, or he probably borrowed against someone that he knows. Does it spark any use case? Yes. Like I said, can it be used in the future by business? Yes. Can it be used by people? Unless you're an architect and you really value your name because it does mean something and you're borrowing against your name because that is your website, it could. If you're just John Doe and you want to get like $1,000 by just someone lending you money for your domain name, you're probably going to be out of luck, man. I mean, this is probably a one-time operation type of deal, and still unknown what the full effects are going to be for this, how it will be regulated in the future. Again, 15%, it's too high, man. It's like a shark loan, man. I mean, 15% in 3 months, it's insane. It's too much money. Anyways, the next article. Next article is from The Crypt. The first two were from Cointelegraph. This one's from The Crypt. It says 63% of the Ripple XRP community has gone for good. Now, this is FUD. right? I will call it out right now. It's not real. That much of the community is gone. It is based on data that is still yet to be determined how valid it is. Now, it does say that during the last 2 years, Ripple has lost over 63% of its active community, according to data collected from Telegram chat groups by a pseudonymous crypto trader. Now, Aztec data indicates that between June 2018 and April 2020, many crypto-focused Telegram channels have seen a severe drop in the number of members, leading to massive community capitulation. Now, worse still, Ripple, the company dedicated, to the XRP coin, has been adding to the downwards pressure on the price. Now, they do state that early in the year, Ripple CEO Brad Garlinghouse revealed that Ripple would not be profitable or cash flow positive without selling XRP, indicating that XRP sales were indeed helping to finance the business. Now, this was said by a data analyst from Mazari, and besides Ripple, a large number of users have apparently lost their interest in Litecoin also, and the project has lost over 67% of its Telegram following since 2018. Many other crypto-focused groups lost 25 to 75% of their members as well. Now, a couple things. We had the crypto boom, right? 2017, prices went up. 2018, prices went down. 2019, we kind of saw a small recovery spike and then losing off, and right now we're still undecided as to where the market wants to go. It seems like we're just moving on middle ground. Now, what I can tell is that in Telegram, there's many accounts that are bots, right? That are just there for support of the chat. So we still don't know how many of those users are real there. Now, this came from a tweet from Aztec BTC again. It says community capitulation, etc. Right, so look, it does say Telegram group on June 2018, and then until April 2020, and then percentage of members lost. And then here's Ripple, right? 64,000, they have 23,000. How many of those were real hardcore users? How many people were there just for information? How many of those were bot accounts? How many of those were duplicate accounts? How many of those are people that are actually had their account on their phone, maybe lost their phone or changed it, and then just really didn't reinstall Telegram? Lumens also decreased by 33%, so stellar. Like I said, Litecoin 67. All these sites or all these coins or Telegram groups lost people, right? Is it a lack of interest? Yeah. Are there other people that are interested? Yeah. But there's also other mediums to have people on, right? You don't have to go to Telegram group to have a following. You can have a following on Twitter, on Instagram, and many other places, Facebook, right? So just basing on Telegram and calling it that the community is leaving, it's FUD. There should be other data to support this. And this article just wants to spread or seed fear and say, look, man, so many people have left. This is all doomed, right? This is not true. Again, careful with the articles that you guys read. Careful with what we see on the news. Let's try to interpret things smartly and get a good idea as to what's going on with the market and with the news that are being given to us by other sources, right? Anyways, on to the next article. It's from Yahoo Finance. It says Ripple partner SBI Holdings begins using R3 blockchain. Now, Ripple partner SBI has begun using the R3 blockchain technology for its FX margin trading, according to a report by a Japanese outlet on PR Times. Anyways, the use of the technology is confined to the company itself, with the firm tracking through prior order history to prevent human error. Now, we've had reduced the operational risk in confirmation business and ensured high privacy protection and tamper resistance. In addition, the blockchain guarantees that the identity of transactions data between the parties and basically improves the reliability of collation work. Furthermore, the real-time transmission of information enables seamless data linkage to the back office work. Now, that was being said by SBI Holdings on their statement. R3 DLT-based Corda, which I think does use XRP for some of its processes, will initially be used by both SBI Securities and SBI Liquidity Market, with expansion to companies outside of SBI Group also being considered. Now, the move from SBI Group to use blockchain technology is a huge step in the industry as a whole, with also highlights Ripple's positive results when it comes to global partnerships, right? And again, we know that Ripple's is working with SBI. Whether or not they're using Corda instead of Ripple directly, it's up in the air. But again, both have use cases. Anyways, Ripple's rumored partnership with Bank of America was confirmed by one of the bank's executives last week, who went on basically to hail the project as being innovative, right? That's it for this article. Again, like I said, it's good for Ripple. It's good for R3. I'm glad that there's stuff happening with that coin. in that asset, and I do hope that we start seeing that use case being transferred or translated into increase in price action for the asset. Now, Binance reveals more details on its Bitcoin debit card. Now, Changpeng explained how the exchange forthcoming debit card will spur crypto transactions while speaking at the Blockdown virtual crypto conference today. But he also hinted at problems with its rollout and didn't provide a launch date. Now, announced last month, the card will allow users to purchase goods and services from merchants who don't accept crypto and basically using their funds on their Binance account. This has two big advantages, according to Changpeng. And he says, first, it solves the so-called chicken and egg problem of merchants not accepting crypto because, well, with less than 1% of their customers using crypto, it's not worth their while. Now, he does actually state, and this is a quote, being able to swipe a credit card and spend crypto solves that problem. The merchant is basically accepting crypto without knowing it to him. He accepts fiat. That will slowly solve the chicken and egg problem. Not really. Unless the merchant uses or receives the crypto, it'll always be invisible to him. He'll always receive the fiat. That means that the money gets converted by the exchange at the time you swipe at whatever rate it is, with who knows what kind of percentage fee on your swipe, and for just basically taking liquidity from the market, because you're gonna not put an order on the market, right? You're not gonna kill your order. You're just gonna take liquidity from the market because you swipe, and it has to be converted immediately at whatever the exchange rate is. So besides having a higher fee, your card fee, plus the merchant not realizing that he's taking crypto, it doesn't solve the problem. Yeah, you can use it, but if not more people get into crypto, then no one else will see the benefit, right? No one else will have this card go through. Because you need more people joining crypto, more people using the Binance card for the adoption to start to grow, right? And then, but until merchants see it, it's not going to happen. At the same time, that happens with, it escapes my mind right now. There's this other payment facilitator where you can buy with crypto, but their end receiver gets fiat. And it was used by the Dallas Mavericks, and I think it's Pay... I forgot the name. Pay something, man. BitPay, maybe? I can't remember right now. But anyways, you pay with crypto. That means you lose your crypto, and the end receiver gets fiat. Again, until they receive the crypto, and they have to use the crypto as the end user, like the receiving bank or the receiving party, it's invisible to them. They're still receiving fiat. They really don't care how you pay, so long as they get their money in their pocket. It doesn't solve the problem. Sorry, Changpeng, you're not solving the problem. You're just making it easier for people to use crypto, but you're really not solving the problem. Anyways, the second advantage, he said, it was that it will allow people to retain their crypto for much longer instead of having to sell crypto before a transaction and then convert it into cash. Maybe. I mean, if I was going to buy something with my crypto, I would transfer that much money into cash and then send it to my card. How much difference would it take for me to do that if I just transfer the crypto? If I just swipe the card and then that transaction gets done? Maybe like a couple minutes more? Is it worthwhile? Would it make it easier? Yes. Is it an advantage to hold crypto that long? No. Maybe you want to exit the market because you believe the price is going to go down. You want to have more money on hand. That's just the second point I have to this. Anyways, he says, now you can just pay with crypto directly. You don't need to do that conversion. You don't need to hold that money in fiat. You just convert when you have to pay. You still have a problem. You still have an issue. You still have to declare it on your taxes because that conversion turns into capital gains, and then you have to declare that. Again, it is key that when you make a transaction, you note it down, because with crypto, all transactions have to be declared on your tax return or your tax form. So long, I think they're above $200. I can't remember what the limit was, or the amount over $200. Anyways, like I said, I don't believe he's solving an issue. He probably just wants to get a little bit more money. He's going to charge commission on the card swipes. Would it make it easier for people? Yeah, you could use your crypto a little bit easier. Yeah, you would probably not have that much. You probably lose a little bit more than if you just converted it and then withdraw it from the exchange into your card and then used it, right? Anyways, Bitcoin Jake, I think that's why the Shift financial card went away when they were partnered with Coinbase and did the same. Yeah, maybe, man. I mean, Like I said, man, you're already gonna be taking a higher rate for conversion because you're taking liquidity from the market, right? Because you're placing a market order. You have to pay a fee on the card for the transaction processing, which in this case I do believe they're gonna use Visa. And then you still gonna like have to declare taxes on your crypto, man. Really, just convert it. You convert what you need, put it into your card, and use it from your debit card, and you're not gonna have to get the fee anyways. Xiao was open about the problems the exchange faced in implementing the debit card scheme, particularly because he had to introduce in each country individually, taking into account local restrictions. In its initial announcement on the card, Binance said it would first launch Malaysia and Vietnam, and it may not take off, it may not work. The fees may be too high, etc. See, the fees may be too high. He's already recognizing there's going to be fees. Use your bank card. You're not going to get a fee, man. You're likely not paying a fee for using your debit card. That's what you give the bank to have liquidity. Anyways, well, Coinbase didn't do a fee, but yes, a market price premium. Yes, like I said, here he's saying there's a fee. Maybe he's referring to market price premium. I'm not sure yet. Anyways, he says because the cards are still country by country, there's still a lot of risk there. So he's recognizing there's risk. He'll say you got to get card issuers in different countries to work with. You got to do risk checks, but the fundamental logic is sound. No, it's not. I don't believe we're still a little bit ahead on this. I do believe there's still a lot of risk. Anyways, next article, because I don't want to spend any more time with this one. It just gets me riled up. Binance Latam list Bolivar amid Venezuela's struggling national economy. Now, this is going to be problems from Binance probably, and it's probably going to face scrutiny from other governments. On April 16, Binance announced that they are listing the Venezuelan Bolivar in their peer-to-peer trading platform against Bitcoin, USD Tether, Ethereum, Binance US Dollar, and EOS. Why am I saying it's going to give you problems? Well, there are sanctions by the U.S. on Venezuela, and the fact that you're facilitating not just the Venezuelan people, but the Venezuelan government access to crypto is going to have probably some backlash from other countries and pressure from other governments. So while it might be good for them, for their business, I don't want to see what consequences they're going to have to face. Anyways, exchange customers can now search for local P2P merchants who have stable cryptocurrency sources and trade them for like Venezuela, Bolivar, basically. According to Binance, there's no security deposits and zero transaction fees. Well, that's good, but again, you're kind of playing with fire when you go into these countries, and especially with with everything that's going on there, man. It's just not. I don't believe it's a good move by Binance. But Venezuela has dealt with numerous economic and political crises. These have involved measures taken by the governments to control the circulation of foreign currencies in the country. And as a currency, the Bolivar has been heavily devalued and is now showing a conversion exchange of 121.65 Bolivars per $1. Now, the Bolivar inflation remains at 9,585.50% as of press time. Again, huge inflation on that. Will you give people a safe haven? Yes. Can people use it? Yes, but you're also giving the government an outlet, and that could bring the problems that you don't want to have, right? Anyways, that's it. I'm not going to go too much into detail on the article. I just wanted to bring it out because I do believe Binance might be basically walking on thin ice here. I'm going to move on to the technical, guys. Thank you for sticking with us for this about half an hour of news, man. I did find a lot of articles today, which was good. And articles that really I had something to add to. And not just go through them like, like because they are good articles this time. So I'm going to move on to the technicals. Let me play the small intro. Stick with us, and we'll be right back. We're back. Awesome. Thank you for sticking with us. This is Tether Crypto. Again, if you like what we do, hit that like, that bell, that sub. A couple of people tuned in. I'm not sure who else is watching, but thank you, Bitcoin Jake, for being here. If you're here and you want to say hi, you're welcome. And if you want to have any questions or you want to discuss anything in particular, you can type it out in the chat. We're here for that. Anyways, what is happening with market cap? Yesterday we had a money flowing out of the cryptosphere, 1.39 billion, not a lot. Basically losing 0.70% of market cap. Phil Domi, how's it going, man? Thank you for being here. Thank you for joining us again. Today, we're gaining a little bit, 1.11%, 1.14%, basically getting 2.28 billion. Market cap sitting at $201.41 billion. Now, again, like I said, indecision. Going up, going down, redoing, undoing. We're going to look at that more in detail when we go into the 1 hour chart on each individual coin, and we'll see what happened from yesterday until today. Now, what has happened with Bitcoin dominance? Yesterday, it lost dominance, 0.48%. Today is gaining very little dominance, basically sitting almost neutral at negative 0.08, 64.71% of market cap. Now, the price of Bitcoin at $7,105 and $103.62. It just changed. It's shifting because it's live. Anyways, like I said, we're facing resistance on this area. We have 7,200 to look at and 7,075. Again, these two lines. We're still within this rising line that we determined to be support, that which we broke out of for just one single day, breaking back into it and still using as support right now. That line, we also hit a bounce of the 618, $6,434.30. We're not doing much right now. We're still making positive momentum, neutral on the RSI at 53.56. We're starting to get this tightness of the Bollinger Bands coming in. You can see that they're starting to come in here and in here, leaving volatility out of the market. So we could have, we could get a wild swing from the squeeze, but we could also have a stagnation, meaning we might move sideways, maybe a little bit up, maybe a little bit down, but mainly sideways until we maybe tighten a little bit more, and then we really hit a violent move. Now, that's it for this on this chart. If we go on to the other chart that we have, as you can tell, we're facing overhead resistance at 7,181, the 50% retrace. And again, we talked about if we're breaking above this, getting back and trying to go for the 618, which is a target to the upside. To the downside, we're looking at 382 at 6,394, and then below that 6,240, and then below that, we do have support here around 5,800, but if we break that, 5,400 would be a target. I'm not targeting to the upside right now because the market is really not clear as to where it wants to do. See how I said we're undoing and redoing the stuff, right? Go high, go low, move sideways, go high. Still below that, go low. We're trying to go high again. So again, we're seeing a lot of indecision in the market. Let's go to the 4 hour chart. Last thing we called was bearish divergence, price action to downside. We moved down. Did we create bullish divergence? No, this is low, this is higher. This is, negative momentum, more negative momentum. And on the other side, we're going from a low to a lower low, which would be congruent. We're hitting a bounce though, which is good. And starting to rally from there on stuff that happened on the 1 hour chart, right? We talked about that yesterday. So we're seeing right now, we're high. What is this high at? Let's see. We're still slightly lower, right? Yeah. So we're high, and we're making, right now, we're still trying to go higher. Now, if we close somewhere up here, right, close to the 50%, but we don't manage to get above it, there is a chance that we could go slightly higher like that, and then we go and create a lower or less positive momentum. And maybe on the other side. On the other side, we're a little bit too close to count for us to be able to call it right now. It's just that move could negate it. But again, we could potentially also get it here on the RSI, go something like that, and then create a strong bearish divergence that could potentially drive the price down. Any movement downwards would certainly see us head for that 20%. Sorry, that 20 simple moving average line on the 4 hour. Right, and then we can test it for support, and if we fail, we're looking for lower prices. If we hold it, we can try to use it as a trampoline to bounce and seek higher prices. But again, potential that we create this divergence. As you can tell, yesterday we were live. I think we were at this candle. This candle, 23 hours, because I came live late. And we started to move up from there, right? So again, we just undid and redo a lot of the stuff, and like I said, just sideways motion, right? We called that yesterday. We said the market doesn't know what it wants to do. We don't know what the market wants to do right now. Sitting at 59.17% on the RSI, so neutral. Let's go to the 1 hour. Last thing we called was bearish divergence, strong price action to downside. Managed to get it, held at 20, tried to move higher, still hugging the 20, breaking below it, and again, very close to the 20, using it as resistance until right now, where we just basically broke above it. And we did use it as support once, and right now it seems like we want to go slightly higher, but we're getting a lot of tightness on the Bollinger Bands, right? We know this tightness can bring explosive moves. We've seen them before. We're much tighter, I think, than we were back here before we got this explosive move to the downside, and here where we got this explosive move to the upside, right? Might be more or less the same distance. But again, we're in that area where we could start to get this movement, but the lack of volatility in the market could also have us move within this range or within this area for a little bit longer than we can. Do I think pumps are going to happen at 3 a.m.s all the time now? Well, look. It's not that it's 3 a.m. or that 3 a.m. is key, Phil. 3 a.m. is usually the time that Europe starts to come online. So 2 a.m. actually Europe comes online, and then you might start seeing movements in the early hours, right? And then it kind of chills until like 7 in the morning, 8 in the morning, depending on where you're at, or 6 in the morning. I'm not sure, 4 or 5 in the morning if you're in the Pacific. But then that's when America comes in, right? Like the continent. And then towards 6 or 7 in the afternoon, you tend to see movements again because that's when Asia comes in. So you gotta like keep track of like the main cities or the largest countries that are pro crypto, or the largest markets, let's say, which usually are Asia, Europe, and in America, right? So by the time China comes online, it's like 6 or 7 in the morning. By the time London comes online, or Europe in general, we're talking about like maybe 2 or 3 in the morning. I know 2 in the morning would be 8 a.m. in Switzerland, so it might be 7 a.m. in UK. So we're talking the markets are probably near opening. So 8, 9 in the morning, we'll start to see those movements. So yeah, 8, 9 in the morning for them. That would mean 2 or 3 in the morning for us in Central Zone or Mexico or the US or whatever, right? But if you're seeing them at 3, I usually see them at 2, meaning that you're probably an hour ahead. I'm in Central Time right now. But yes, there is a chance that is what's happening, right? You're seeing Europe come online, and that's what's playing. And then basically America comes online, like I said, at 7, 8 in the morning, and we start to see those market moves again, right? Anyways, Bitcoin. We call divergence action to the downside. Now, we haven't really gone that much lower, although we did go slightly lower. I mean, I'm a little bit hesitant with this divergence because it's really not that significant, but we do have it, right? It's just very, very tiny. We are going slightly lower, right? And we're going from a negative momentum, right? I'll even take this one, man. You know, and it'll happen from here. It's all the same, right? Low, lower, low, negative momentum, less negative momentum. We don't have it on the RSI, and we're getting a bounce from that. That's strong bullish divergence, price action to the upside. But look, man, it's not coming in strong. It's not coming in hot. It's just kind of bland right now. But it could develop and play out like something like this, right? It just could take time for it to trigger, right? Like we did here. We had the strong divergence. I was expecting for this to come down. If you remember, I called it out. I said, but look, I also said we could run from here. It has a 20. And then we rejected. We could have gotten that move. But if we didn't, then we could have gone higher. And that's precisely what happened. Now, here we have the advantage that we're above the 20. And that if that move comes in, we just do have some resistance here, like I said, 7,200s, but then we can probably see something higher from there. Anyways, let's see, Phil Dummy, let's see. Yes, that last pump was Europe. Okay, you're in days in Toronto. Yes, okay, cool. 11:35 for you right now. You're gonna do some research. Thank you. Okay, yeah, no problem, man. Like I said, for me, it's 2 in the morning when I see the pumps, right? So I'm in Central Time, and that's why I know when you said 3 in the morning, it kind of correlates with my time zone. A little bit, and that's what I can tell why the market might be running. Anyways, like I said, bullish divergence, that's what I'm seeing right now. We're about to get a cross of the MACD over the signal line. Sometimes we get those crosses like we did here, right? MACD, right, the blue line, over the signal line, the orange or red line, depending on how, if you're colorblind. I'm colorblind, so for me it looks like a little bit orange. When we get these moves, right, look at this. Next candle after the move. Boom. Massive, right? Sometimes we get them, sometimes we don't. Back here, look, right? MACD signal line. We get this massive candle. Sometimes we get it on the cross, sometimes we get it after the cross. But something that is holding is that we're about to get that cross, and we could get a spike coming into the upside potentially. You know, sometimes it, like I said, sometimes it don't happen, and that's the thing with the market. Nothing is sure forever. Nothing is always for sure. So we just look for indicators that we might get pumps, that we might get things coming in. Like, for example, right now we have the divergence. We know we're about to get that cross. There's a possibility we get a green bar coming in, a large green bar, which we could or we could not. right? But again, we're trying to get we play with the possibilities and the percentages of things happening, and how likely it is that they will happen, right? Anyways, like I said, right now divergence, price action to the upside. That's what we're expecting. It hasn't really taken off. We're hitting the top part of the Bollinger Bands, expanding them a little bit to the upside. But if that movement comes in, there's no reason why we cannot get out of the top range of the Bollinger Bands or the bottom range of the Bollinger Bands like we've done before. Right? What happens though is that with time you tend to come back into the Bollinger Band range. And that always happens. You can step outside, but at some point in time you're going to come back into the range and respect it, right? You can step outside, but come back into the range. Again, that's it for Bitcoin on the 1 hour. I'm going to move to Ethereum. What is happening with Ethereum dominance? Yesterday, it lost dominance, 0.43. Today, it's gaining 0.52. Sitting at 9.52% of market cap. The price of Ethereum, $173.50. Now, we're back up in this range very nicely. 193.56 and 159.76, right? We're within this 193 to 159. Within this range, which is good. Getting above the 20, we actually used it as a trampoline 2 days ago. Or technically yesterday. And again, what I'm seeing and what I'm looking at is where the 50% retrace is, which is here. We haven't quite gone to it. We know we're targeting it. We're expecting to hit it at some point in time. And the 382 is down here. So again, we're within that range as well. So we're within a larger range, or a smaller range within a larger range, right? Again, starting to make positive momentum. Nothing much happening here. We're still... I mean, fuck, man, in theory... In theory, right, we're sitting at the same height. We can see that the line is just going straight, right? This small dotted line here that I just have the mouse on. So this top is the same as this top right now. And that would imply that we're creating a bearish divergence. We're creating a type 2 or a medium bearish divergence, right? Or class B, however you want to call this. Still bearish divergence. We don't quite... We also have it on the RSI, actually. I'll say we don't quite have it. It's just very, very small on the RSI. It's almost negligible. There we go. I'll just anchor it right now. Now, this can get undone. A small pump to the upside would get rid of this on the RSI, but it will still happen on the MACD until we get to the same height. So again, positive momentum, less positive momentum going on the same price. So that means we have less momentum to get to the same area, so we're slightly weaker. And that could imply price action to the downside. Now, if you guys like what we do, you know what to do. Twitter going out on the feed for you guys that want to follow us there on Twitter. Anyways, that's what I'm seeing right now on the daily. I'm going to go to the 4 hour. We're sitting neutral on the RSI at 58.83. All right, cool. So here you can tell that line that I was telling about, right? That's the current price. Slightly higher than over here, or previous high, right? So we're going slightly higher. As you can tell, we're coming in much lower on the MACD and also on the RSI. Meaning, I mean, we could technically... It is negligible, right? But it's still going up. But it's almost non-existent. Technically, we could call it a medium divergence. But realistically, because it's slightly higher, we could also call it a strong divergence. Strong bearish divergence, potential price action to the downside. This candle hasn't closed, still has 17 minutes to go. And depending on how it closes, it will determine whether or not we developed it or not. Now that's it for Ethereum on the 4 hours. I'm probably screwing up here, and yeah, see, I was gonna have this show up on the 1 hour. And sometimes I forget to anchor stuff to the actual time frame. And all this stuff comes back to show up on other charts, right? Did I just send everything to the 1 hour? Yeah, it should have been on the 4 hours, man. That was my bad. Sorry. Or maybe this from the daily. Sorry. No, this from the daily. I didn't anchor it wrong. That's, forgot to leave the stuff on the daily. There we go. Anyway, last thing we caught was bearish price action to the downside. Broke below 20. Faced it as resistance once, twice, 3 times. Managing to break above it slightly. Trying to use it as a trampoline. Expanding the Bollinger Bands a little bit. Like I said, we're getting tightness. Right? And across the market, it just looks the same. And we could still go, let's see, what was this opening? 174. 174.38. This close was 174.44. It is slightly higher. Again, you can in all theory call it sideways motion. And again, we could even anchor from here to here, right? And we said we might get that upwards movement and create that strong divergence, which we're creating right now. That would mean potential price action to the downside. Right? And we can extend it all the way from here to here, right? Again, strong bearish divergence on Ethereum. And again, targeting potential to the downside. Neutral on the RSI, 59.30. Let's go to XRP on the daily. Yesterday, losing dominance, 0.43%. Let me refresh this for a second. There we go. Yesterday we lost dominance, 0.43%. Today we're gaining 0.20%. Sitting at 4.18% of market cap. The price of XRP, 19 cents, 19.092 cents. Again, slightly lower, less positive momentum, and even lower on the RSI, right? 53.16, slightly higher again. Everything's good. I'm not going to be calling divergence right now, even though we could potentially say it, let's say 89, 77. I mean, it's negligible. I really don't like it when it's like this. I'd much rather have like a noticeable divergence than just by like going this too small of a time frame on the daily. But again, and this can get negated. The day still has a lot of hours to burn, like 20 hours. Right now we're going slightly higher, slightly less positive momentum, creating a strong bearish divergence, potential price action to the downside. That's it for this on the daily. Not much happening. Neutral on the RSI at 53.16. Now on the 4 hours, right, same stuff that we're seeing with Ethereum. We're going to a slightly higher point. Slightly higher point. I'm going slightly less positive momentum, right? Neutral on the RSI at 56.45. Strong bearish divergence, again, potential price action to the downside. And here we're actually going lower with less negative momentum and lower on the RSI. Nothing happening on the 1 hour. Neutral at 57.70. Again, same motion, right? We call divergence, bearish, price action to the downside, breaking below the 20. Trying to go up, rejecting once, 2, 3 times, getting above it, barely, still holding it, trying to expand the Bollinger Bands, but not much happening. Now let's go to Litecoin on the daily. Yesterday losing 0.28% of market cap, today gaining 0.11, sitting at 1.37% of market cap. The price of Litecoin, $72. Sorry, $72. $42.69. Completely miscalled that one. Anyways, moving down, hitting the 20, using it as support, trying to bounce from it. Lower high than the previous high. Lower on that RSI also. Neutral at 50.31. Nothing happening on the daily. Let's go to the 4 hour. On that 4 hour, let's see, we're slightly lower than our previous high, and that's fine, with less positive momentum, and also slightly lower on that RSI. Neutral at 57.04. Nothing happening on the 4 hour. Let's go to the 1 hour. Again, slightly lower than our previous high. Right, also lower on that, less positive momentum, and also lower on the RSI. Nothing happening on Litecoin, just following the rest of the market. Neutral at 58.21. Let's go to Binance. Binance dominance on the daily. Yesterday losing dominance, 0.07. Today gaining 1.12%, sitting at 1.23% of market cap. The price of Binance, $15.97. We're going slightly higher again. Less positive momentum. We call this divergence. We're still moving slightly higher, right? Sorry, I didn't want to do that one. We're moving still slightly higher. We're still going slightly lower. And again, still creating this strong bearish divergence. But again, because it's following Bitcoin, it's following the market. And since it's not really having free will movement, we're just following whatever the market does. Neutral on that RSI, 59.02. Let's go to the 4 hour chart. On the 4 hour, bearish divergence, price action to the downside. Got it. Bounce back up, holding the 20 again, like we said. Going slightly higher now. Awesome. Now, these does anchor. Higher high. Negative momentum. Sorry, positive momentum. Less positive momentum. High on the RSI. Lower on the RSI. Now, although we are creating that bearish divergence, the only thing I would have to say is that this is a new positive momentum island, where we can start to develop, right? We can still go higher, and then the price can still go pushing, and then this can still grow. Just watch out for that. But right now, we do have this divergence that could potentially mean Price action to the downside, moving downwards, sales phase at 20. SMA, right, sitting bought right now at 62.53 on the RSI. Let's go to the 1 hour chart. Here we have a conundrum. All right, one of those things where we don't know if we should consider this island or not. It's so small, but all technicality is higher. Now, that being said, we do have divergence being created there, at least on the MACD, right? And then 63.95, 64. All right, but from here to here, even though we're going higher, if we consider this island, we're making more positive momentum, and that would be fine. If we don't consider this island, we can even anchor from here to here, right? You say we're going from a high to a lower positive momentum to less positive momentum. Ignore that and go all the way from here to here, and again, still say we have strong bearish divergence right now. But that is if we want to ignore this island, which again, I'm not sure whether or not we should ignore it. Anyways, I'm going to leave it there for Binance. Really, it's not a coin that I'm really looking forward to get into. If you guys want me to look at it more in detail, I will. But for me, Binance right now is kind of bland. Bought on the other side, 62.51. I'm going to go look at the gold and silver real quick. Silver potential movement to the downside. We got today. We got a little movement to the downside. Again, still within the range of the 50 and the 382, right? Again, we know we're silver. It's within this regular range of $14 to $17, so nothing wrong there. Gold moving down again. Remember how we said we were going to test the 100% and then see if we moved? Well, we moved down right on divergence. We called it. We're waiting for it. Like we hit it once, twice. Today we were sitting on it when we were doing the market yesterday. Or sorry, yeah, we were sitting on it when we did market yesterday. We bounced a little bit, arranged. And then today we're breaking down at 1,681, so losing $35 or 2.05%. That's it for gold, though. Let's go look at the rest of the market. S&P up 75 points, by the way. Just waiting for this to load. There we go. S&P 500 up 75 points. Nikkei up. Sorry, I'm gonna readjust this. I can't because we're not making any new positive. We wait for this to develop, though. Right now we're going slightly higher with less positive momentum. We don't have a green bar, so I'm not going to anchor. But this will be creating a strong bearish divergence right now. Nikkei up 607 points. Again, same story, right? Here we can anchor. Going slightly higher. Going slightly lower. Even higher on the other side, though. Neutral still. But again, strong bearish right now being developed. Toronto up 460 points. It just seems like we did sideways motion. We can tell we're going slightly higher, but again, we don't have an anchor here, a green bar, a strong green bar. Neutral on the RSI. London up to 120 points. Here we can anchor, I think. Yes, we can. Anchor from high to higher high. Positive momentum, less positive momentum, creating strong bearish divergence right now. Neutral on their side. Again, the markets on the world are more or less congruent. Let's look at the Dow up 704 points. Remember how we said we're likely gonna gap up on the US 30 if this one up? Well, you know, US 30 doesn't lie. Dow Jones up. All right, market closed. Why is it saying April 17th? Because that was today. Yeah. Duh. Anyways, like we said, slightly higher, less positive momentum, higher on the other side. But again, really not enough to call it. We're sitting at a resistance that now is going to become a support at 236 at 24,055. We're sitting at 24,242. A movement to downside would see support here. And then we would be able to judge. If we make a green bar, we could create divergence, right? US 30, again, so that movement to the upside. And it is Friday, so the market's closed until Monday. Let's go look at oil. Brent. Moving down, holding the 20, nothing else happening. Neutral on the other side, 40.60. Again, we knew it was a chance. Sitting at $30.63. This other Brent on this other chart, $28.30. West Texas, same stuff, $19.77. Again, same motions on oil. That's it. I guess it's going to be it for tonight, guys. I'm a little bit tired, actually. I think I'm going to call it a night. Thank you all for watching. This is State of Crypto. I'm your host, Martin. It's been a pleasure being here with you guys tonight on this awesome Friday night. I hope you're having a great time. I hope you're staying safe. I hope you enjoy your weekend. We'll be here tomorrow for another edition of State of Crypto. I want to sign off. I know for some of you guys it's past or close to midnight. Thank you all for showing up. Thank you, Bitcoin Jake, for being here. Thank you, Phil Dummy, for being here. And we'll be here tomorrow again. So if you have any other questions, you can come in and chat with us tomorrow. But thank you all for being here, and that's going to be it for tonight. I hope you enjoyed tonight's show. I'll catch you again tomorrow for another edition of State of Crypto. Until then.